Join us today for episode 4 of Toys, Tabletop, and Beyond, a podcast here on the Geek Cabal channel. I'm Bobbie.
I'm Chad.
And today we're going to go a little bit more towards the tabletop. We've been talking about toys a lot lately. Still going to be talking a little bit about toys here, but we're going to do more tabletop stuff here. Don't quite know when we're going to hit Beyond, but we'll get there.
We don't even know what Beyond looks like at this point.
That's right. So, in channel news, not a whole lot to talk about.
Nope.
Just been kind of chucking along with the videos. Been doing some more Star Wars videos lately. Got another BattleTech video on the horizon. Just gotta make sure the audio works out. My nephew Levi and I recorded a video. However, the audio is non-existent, so we're going to re-record that one. The things you run into here with a small channel.
Yeah.
But yeah, other than that, that's about it. If the stars align right, in the next few days, I might go watch The Fifth Element in the theaters. Because it'll be back the 17th and the 20th. So yeah, hopefully it'll happen. I think it's the last movie between now and the end of the year, as far as like older movies that I know of. Sometimes they just randomly throw other stuff out there.
Yeah, they'll look and it's like, hey, here's a week where we don't really have any good older movies.
Yeah.
What do we put?
Or like how The Matrix 25th anniversary just came out of nowhere. Like they weren't advertising it for months and months. Like right now, if you go to Fathom events, you can see stuff out to like February.
Mm-hmm.
All right. And like The Matrix, just like Fifth Element, I think has been on there for like since January.
Yep.
So, but yeah, that's a lot of it. I don't even know what's coming out movie-wise. Like, well, I guess Gladiator 2, maybe.
Yeah.
Might go watch that. There has, I did a video talking about this, you can check it out, but there has been movement on Twilight of the Dead, George Romero's unfinished final movie.
Yeah.
Like the script, they're working on making the script filmable because it was just a first draft. But they cast Mila Jovovich of Resident Evil fame.
And Fifth Element.
Yeah, she's in other things. I'm just saying, like, it's another zombie movie franchise.
I know.
So, you know, I don't know. She gets crap, but I think she can act.
She's not a bad actress.
So, but it's just kind of funny having the main star of the Resident Evil franchise, which George Romero was initially going to do the first Resident Evil movie. He had a script version. It was different from the game, but I mean, so is the current movies anyway. But it ended up not happening, and so now to come full circle to have the star of those be in this. So, and I guess his ex-wife is in charge of a lot of the stuff for it. So, I have hopes. I don't know if they're high hopes, but I have hopes. It sounds like with her being cast, it's probably going to be a studio movie, which, as I mentioned in the other video, is rare. Only one of the 6 are studio movies, and that was Land of the Dead. The other 5 were independently financed.
Land of the Dead, that's the one with the truck, the kill truck, right?
Yes. Yeah.
Nice.
And you can tell, like, it's got higher production quality. You know, what I call real stars, you know,
yeah.
like Dennis Hopper and John Leguizamo and the main guy whose name I don't know.
And the main zombie guy.
Yeah.
Who we actually met.
We met him, yeah. But yeah, so there's some movement there. So there was something else, but I'm spacing it now. Oh, the Star Wars Skeleton Crew show comes out in a few weeks. The Dune show about the Bene Gesserit, like the founding of them and everything, I think has started. So if it's on HBO Max, I'll probably be checking it out. And Penguin has finally finished season 1, so I'm going to go and blitz out the episodes.
And Deadpool and Wolverine is now on Disney Plus.
Yeah. Yes, and there's a commercial for it too, if you haven't seen it. It involves the popcorn bucket.
Yeah. I have not seen that.
Yeah, it involves the popcorn bucket and Blind Al reaching into it, and Deadpool just literally just like, well, welcome to Disney Plus. So, yeah. Yeah, so you said you watched it though, right?
Yeah.
What'd you think of it?
Good.
No.
Like,
Don't blow any of the cameos.
Yeah, don't blow any of the cameos. I thought it was good.
Although I did in one of our posts on Twitter, so
Like, I minor spoiler, I didn't think the Deadpool movies shared the same timeline as Logan.
yeah, that was definitely added in. Well, no, there's a deleted scene. There's a cut scene or something, either in Logan or Deadpool 2. I don't remember which one.
Deadpool 2, the post credit scene.
Yeah.
I think it's part of the pro. It might be a deleted scene. Shows him at the young X-Men with the younger X-Men.
No, there's a scene in one of them where he goes and he's going to dig him up, and he's got the stuff.
Oh, that's at the end of Deadpool 2.
Yeah, and he's just like, no, I can't do it to you. Then here he's like, I'm digging you up.
But he had the time bracelet. I figured it was him leaping through everything.
No, that was his timeline. So.
Yeah, that's still like the same stretch of he shot Ryan Reynolds before he could make the Green Lantern.
Well, okay, that's the problem of that was before the MCU like did anything with the multiverse.
Yeah,
anything, so
it's that is the issue with that.
Yeah,
of going, oh, that's that. I believe they also, had a deleted scene where he stole Xavier's wheelchair.
Yeah, so thanks to the ending,
actually might not be deleted.
Thanks to the ending of this movie, you might have come across a number of videos now on YouTube that have something to the effect of it'll say something like how women want to die in their sleep, but then it'll be like how men want to go, and it'll be some scene from a movie like the Charge of the Rohirrim or something, some like fight to the death, defending something important with Madonna music playing. So yeah, that's the contribution this movie has made to the memosphere. Like the Madonna song is now being used in all kinds of videos for that purpose. Also, I'm seeing a lot of the quote from Oblivion that I will not remember properly, so I'm not even going to try it. But it's the whole like what better way is there to die than defending the ashes of your fathers and the temples of your gods. But it's a poem. It rhymes. I can't think of how it goes, but it's from I want to say Herodotus wrote it like 2,500 years ago. But
and you are here abusing his work.
Yeah, I know.
Not the first one.
Probably not.
Won't be the last.
Definitely won't. I might do it again.
You will.
But most people know it from Oblivion, and Tom Cruise uses it quite well at the end of the movie. Speaking of which, I haven't watched it yet, but the trailer for the last Mission Impossible movie came out like yesterday.
I have not watched.
So it's part 2 of the last one, and it's supposed to be the last one. Then I saw another person's video. It's like, people, we have to stop doing this to Tom Cruise. He is 62 years old. Look, and he starts going through, and he's like, he is older than when Ian McKellen played Gandalf. He is older than when James Cromwell was in Babe the Pig. And he's like jumping off of planes and shit.
He can stop making Mission Impossible movies and give us a new Edge of Tomorrow movie. He doesn't even have to be the action guy.
Yeah.
He can be the experienced trainer guy getting someone trained who's now going through that stuff.
Yeah, maybe. I think they totally defeated the aliens, though.
Until they need a sequel.
Oh, Levi and I talked about that in the Scream movies. We both agreed Scream 2 is the weak link. Because it's definitely the one that has, like, sequelitis.
Yeah.
That whole, like, we've got to make a sequel. Get one out there. Like, all the others seem to, like, have been... There's some thought put into them. Scream 2 was like, do the same thing. Just put it on a college campus.
They're only defeated so long as they don't want to do a sequel.
Yeah.
Like, if they want to make an Oblivion 2... Like, they can. They will. Like, we thought, the aliens were defeated in Independence Day. And then they decided some odd years later, let's make Independence Day 2.
Yeah. Although I suppose Stargate's the real example.
Yeah.
We thought we defeated him. Let's make like a 8-season TV show that was really good, actually.
Yeah. Most of it was really good.
Well, yeah, I mean, every show has its ups and downs, but like, I thought by and large it was good.
Yes. And then they had spin-off series.
I thought Atlantis was all right.
Atlantis was all right.
I didn't watch much of the other one, though. It only had like the one season.
I don't even know the name of it.
It's the one where they ended up like
I know what it is. Yeah. They get on a ship that is building stargates and populating them to planets. But it also had a cartoon, so.
But yeah, then we got War of the Rohirrim coming up. I think it's supposed to be out in theaters before the end of the year, right?
I think so.
Then, did you see the announcement that we're getting another Star Wars trilogy?
No. Based in what timeline? When?
Well, Rey is going to be the like Obi-Wan type character, apparently. So, Chad, here's what you really need to know. Some people at Disney were kind of like, we don't know what the hell Kathleen Kennedy is talking about. This is the first we've heard of it.
Oh.
And other people are like, this isn't happening. Like they just keep announcing things and nothing ever actually happens. So don't expect anything to happen here.
They're announcing things willy-nilly, hoping to see what sticks to the wall.
Yeah, but supposedly Simon Kinberg is supposed to be the producer. And now he's directed a few things, like I think Dark Phoenix. But he's produced other things like Days of Future Past. And so like his production credits are a lot stronger than his directing credits. He's produced some solid stuff.
Okay.
We could definitely have worse, and he's done. He did a few episodes of some of the animated shows too, so he's dabbled in Star Wars stuff.
Okay.
So if it does come down to him, plus the fact that they're saying he's the producer for the trilogy, which was the biggest problem with the last one.
They didn't have someone there over everything going, no, you can't do that because we need that to set up this over here in this movie.
Yeah. So now their biggest problem is going to be the fact it's a sequel to that trilogy, which was a dumpster fire. So, ain't nothing against Daisy Ridley, but
she can act.
And she can act, and, you know, for the most part, she's stayed out of the culture war nonsense, for the most part. So that's a thing, maybe. But,
so, on to the topic for our video today.
Yeah, I think that's all the, like, upcoming potential stuff. So for today, we're going to start with, how did I word it there, Chad?
Possible topic for the next Toys, Tabletop, and Beyond.
You could have skipped that part.
No, you asked how you worded it. Properties we would like to see turned into a tabletop game or RPG.
Okay.
Our setting.
Well, let's go with that,
and our expansion for an existing game.
Okay, let's focus on the first one first.
Okay.
So, you got anything, or let me go first?
I mean, you go first.
All right.
We'll see if we agree on some things.
Well, one property that I think could be turned into a tabletop game is Command and Conquer.
Now, are you talking? We really should put in like what type of tabletop game as well.
I think 4X is what you call it, but it's war game, but also resource gathering. You know, essentially try to, as much as possible, turn the video game into the tabletop game.
Okay, so you're talking about like a war game.
Yeah.
Something like Warhammer 40K.
Something like, well, so yeah, I don't know. That's where the rubber kind of hits the road as far as the idea, because part of the problem is to adapt it, I think you have to have the resource gathering part, unless you just want to make it a straight up war game. But if you have the resource gathering part, then you have to have a bunch of other factors you got to consider, like you got to build buildings and everything else. And at that point, I don't know if it's feasible to have it be like a miniatures game because of the sheer number you're going to need, or if it's more like, you know, you'll have a handful of miniatures representing some of your units, but make it, you know, a little more extrapolated, have a lot of it be like card based or something. You know, because ultimately, to really capture the essence of the game, you've got to be, assuming you're talking the mainline game, you're after Tiberium.
Okay.
And, you know, there's several factors you've got to consider. Or, alternatively, you just make it a straight up war game, and you have, just a certain number of points on each side. And again, if you stick with the main game, there's only 2 factions anyway, so it's GDI and the Brotherhood of Nod. Although Red Alert's where it's at.
If I may throw this out,
you may.
I would take it, have your starter set. With the starter set, you get like a base figure, mini, for whatever side you picked and the models and all. And then you go with it so long as your base is intact. You have which your base is destroyed, you lose the game anyways. You have a deck. That's literally how many resources you're getting every turn. And then you can deploy units based on that.
Well,
like this tank costs X units or X resources to deploy, and you can deploy like X inches away from base or your edge.
Well, maybe go with make a 3D model of the construction yard. That's the core of your base. And the rest would be cards. But like you start off with, you get resources similar to how like terraforming Mars,
mm-hmm.
They have like cubes and stuff. You've only got 1 resource essentially. Well, no, I guess if you want to be technical, you got 2 because you have power generation. So you would have a certain number at the start, and then you would buy like a power plant or whatever, but they would just be cards that you would lay out. Then on the cards, it would have some kind of like the shield is this, or like you got to roll to hit this or whatever to attack them. And you'd set up like a mat, for how you'd set up your base.
Mm-hmm.
And then your opponent, they'd have their forces. They'd be like, okay, I'm going to attack this building. I'm within range and everything. There'd have to be some give and take on just how much of a war game it would be,
Because if that seems like a hard one to adapt.
Well, because I think it depends on...
Part of it is the resource management, the build your base stuff and all.
Well, right. So it had to be streamlined, So like it might be a case of... I don't know.
Okay, it might be a good idea if on this it took the approach of Battletech.
Oh.
You have the main game, and then you have Alpha Strike, the streamlined version. Main game, make it like heavy, like resource management. You gotta have the buildings and all, and you gotta keep track of your energy production versus expenditure, and like you have field objectives where it is you're obtaining the resource from the field, and the Alpha Strike version pretty much be you're just slugging it out.
That could work.
You're just automatically assuming you're getting X energy and X Tiberium every turn.
Yeah. That could work. Or just for the streamline, just don't even have the base. You just have a certain number of points to work with for your units, and it's just a free-for-all,
Well, the idea is with Command and Conquer, you're spawning in new troops as the game goes on, right?
I get that, but I'm just saying, like, just, maybe don't even try to necessarily copy with the streamline version.
Yeah.
Just make it so that it's literally just, this tank is X points, this infantry guy is X point, Y points.
You have Tiberium and energy to work with. Here's the total.
Yeah.
That way you can tweak it to where, that would be an idea.
Yes. Also, Red Alert. Again, it's awesome. Soviets versus the Allies, then eventually Yuri. And then if you get to part 3, you get the Empire of Japan.
There you go.
Led by Sulu. I'm serious. The Russians were led by Tim Curry and the guy who plays the Jinn and Wishmaster. And their scientist is the guy who played Lucifer in Constantine. Yeah. It's star-studded cast. Like you should definitely check out the videos. I will try to remember to link the video the one that everyone knows of Tim Curry, where he's like, "We will go to the one place capitalism has not gotten to yet," or how he puts it. He's like, space. He just spazzes out whenever he says it. You can tell they're just like, "All right, Curry, go as over the top as humanly possible."
All right.
But yeah, you should check that out. I'll try and link that video. But yeah, that's my big push. What do you got, Chad?
Well, there's several that come to mind actually.
Okay.
First one, going in your vein of adapting a video game.
Okay.
Wing Commander.
Okay.
You go a miniatures game like,
Sure.
say, Armada or X-Wing.
Okay.
It's literally you have the miniature of the fighters and the carriers,
Right.
depending on how the scale you want to go with, and you have the humans and the Kilrathi.
Okay. So just to be crystal clear, are we talking Mark Hamill and Biff, or are we talking Freddie Prinze Jr. and Matthew Lillard?
Here's the fun thing: we go both.
Both. Okay. All right. All right.
Because we go with it as Freddie Prinze Jr. and Matthew Lillard are the junior versions of the others. Or actually, they're kids.
Okay.
That way you can have the senior and the junior.
Did we have any notable actors among the Kilrathi?
I don't know.
Okay, probably not.
But it would work.
All right, I could see it.
Like, I mean, I don't know how to explain it beyond that. It's ship combat, so
Yeah, it's space combat. I got it.
you can go with like proprietary die or just, do the smart thing and D6 it.
Yeah.
So like there's that, or you can use D10s. D10s are a thing. Also easier to adapt into like, percentages than a D6.
I'm gonna use a D7 from
Really?
from Dungeon Crawl Classics.
Why can't we go with the D30 then?
Well, we could. It's there too. But yeah, I don't know. What else you got?
Well, mentioned this to you off camera, but the Wheel of Time.
Okay.
Adaptable into a war game with what goes on in the books. Because you do have different nations, then you have the Trollocs and Forces of Darkness, Forces of the Light, all that fun stuff. You can also do an RPG for it. Because it is a series about the Chosen Ones and going off to fight evil and such.
Do you have Amazon on your phone?
Yes.
You pull it up for a second.
Why?
Because I didn't search for something while you're talking.
But yeah, very doable. It has a different magic system for when it was made. It's different. It's more what you can weave and such. And, magic that the males at a point have the chance for insanity, so that's always a bonus.
Yeah.
Uh,
Because I did remember something else. For RPG setting, so you keep going and look at those.
So, like, there's that. Like, it did have a 3.5 source book. So, like, it's already been done, but I think it would be better suited. When I said 3.5, I meant D&D 3.5. It'd be better suited with its own RPG system to better encapsulate how the magic works.
Yeah.
And how the reincarnation system works. Well, not necessarily reincarnation, but there's some reincarnation, some implanted memories and stuff like that. It's good. It should have its own RPG.
All right. Well, I do know a setting that I don't know if it'd work better as its own RPG or just make it a setting for D&D, but probably its own RPG. Probably. The name of the book series is The Shadow of the Apt, and I've read the first 5 books in it, but I think there's 5 more that I haven't found yet. By Adrian Tchaikovsky, I believe that's how you pronounce his last name. And the first book in the series is called Empire in Black and Gold. And the general idea is, in their world, they're they're the they are advancing technologically, and I believe the people that know how to do things like that are called the Apt, if I recall correctly. But I could be wrong. It's been once I've read the books, and it's a case of like either you understand it or you don't, and it's not a matter of like it's nothing that can be learned. You can either deal with mechanical things or you can't. And they're coming out of having been ruled over by magic users, but they fell in the last big war. And one of the quirks is everyone there is like a human insect hybrid. So like there's the wasp kingdom, there's the spider kingdoms underground. There are the beetles, the moths, the mantises, things like that.
There's an issue there.
What?
Spiders aren't insects; they're arachnids.
I don't care.
I
didn't write the book.
8 legs versus 6 legs.
I didn't write the book. There's also scorpions.
Which are
Also
8-legged.
arachnids, I know.
Yes.
There's also things from underwater. Like you just got to roll with it here, Chad.
I mean, there are water bugs, so
You just got to go with it. Trust me. So the moths used to rule the roost because they're the big magic users, but they've been dethroned, and so now like the main character is a guy who's literally like a professor at a university. He's a beetle, Kindred. I think it's Kindred, and so he's like trying to build an alliance to stop the wasps because they're going to conquer everything. And all of them have like abilities kind of based on things like the wasps. Instead of having an actual stinger, they literally can like shoot fire from their hands. Okay, and some of them have wings, but they also have people on their side that can build the machines. So they also have like siege weapons and like steam powered bolt throwers and things like that.
Ooh.
Like they got one guy is he's a scorpion, and normally his people don't have that ability, but he does. And so he just builds all kinds of zany war machines for him. And but the mosquito, I'll get to them in a second. The wasp emperor has found what's probably the last mosquito. Well, what would a mosquito be in that world?
vampire.
Yes, which means he has magic and he's probably immortal. And he's promised to make the emperor immortal. And yeah,
Turning him into a mosquito.
I think by biting him, but it doesn't come to pass. So it doesn't matter.
I don't think that would work.
I'm just telling you, but he does definitely have magic because he uses it. And then the mantis kindred, they were the assassins for the moths, and some of the moths still have their magic, and so like the main guy, his niece, one of the moths falls for her and like uses his magic to make it so she can like actually grow wings and everything. So, but it's a very good book series from the 5 that I read anyway. But they're whole like some of them have magic, some of them have machines. They're all like human plus, So to them, nothing's weird like that.
Yeah.
And then like the spiders, they have like their decadent underground kingdom. They just kind of sit around and bemoan the fact they don't rule everything, and it's a bunch of things like that. So there's like internal politicking. There's major cities. Just a bunch of things that you could definitely build a whole thing around.
So the spiders are able to make silk, I'm guessing?
Yes, I'm sure. I think it's the main thing they export.
Guy can, live forever drinking blood, or guy can shoot fire out of his hands, or guy over there can lift 10 times his own strength. We can produce silk.
Pretty sure they're also venomous.
Okay, that's a perk.
I'm just saying. Plus, they got the big underground kingdoms. I'm just saying.
At least scorpions can glow in the dark.
What?
Certain scorpions, if you fluoresce them, they glow.
Okay.
Like with
I'll try
black
to
light.
remember that.
That's how certain scorpion hunters find them.
Huh.
They go out in the desert at night and with the black light shining around, and scorpions certain scorpions in certain areas fluoresce.
Something just seems very inherently dangerous with that whole proposal.
What, going out in the dark looking for scorpions?
Yeah. What about the ones that don't fluoresce?
Oh, kind of ignore those.
Well, I mean, what if they choose to not ignore you, is my point.
That ain't gonna be your problem very long.
That's one way to look at it. But yeah, so I think the book series is good, but I think that would definitely be an interesting series to try to adapt.
Yeah.
Like I said, probably with its own rules. I mean, you could do it, I'm sure, with the D&D structure. Well, no, I don't think you could, because the way the magic works, it's not
Here's a spell.
Like the magic isn't like fireballs and lightning bolts and things like that. It had to do with I don't remember what the mosquito did at this point. All I know is like you needed like candlelight and a room with like a bunch of mirrors to like focus his reflection and everything, and then he did something. But it was kind of like, I don't want to say it's in the same vein as like Lord of the Rings magic, but I think it is in terms of like it's not fireballs and lightning bolts. It's like changing fate and like changing things and things like that.
Making a crystal glow to light the way.
Well, that's like the low tier magic. Like the high tier magic was doing things like, like creating the orcs, or whenever Morgoth created the mountain chain that surrounds Mordor, things like that, or creating the ring. That's the upper level magic. That other stuff, that's riffraff magic. It looks impressive, but it's not the thing that like centuries from now is going to matter. That's the kind of magic that is lasting.
What about ancient elven weapons that glow when orcs are near?
If I remember from the books, like it's debatable if that's even magic or that's just the elves are just that damn good at making swords. Like it's been a while, so
They don't exactly explain why it does it.
Yeah, because there's definitely there's a very fuzzy area between are the elves just that good at craftsmen or is it magic? Because there's things that's definitely magic like the Cimmerals and the rings, but then you have the sword. The sword's probably magic, but at the same time, like they also reforged Narsil, and that was just they're that damn good, So hard to say. I'm not a Tolkienologist.
On that front, I think Lord of the Rings would be great to have an RPG of. Yes, D&D is based on Lord of the Rings because they wanted to play the heroes and all that fun stuff, but an actual Lord of the Rings RPG would be amazing.
You couldn't have any spellcaster classes.
And?
I'm just saying, because there's only 5 wizards, and we know who all 5 of them are.
And?
I'm just throwing that out there. I'm not saying that it makes it a bad game.
It's...
Like, everyone's going to be a fighter.
Or a rogue. Or a monk. But we're not doing D&D.
I know, but, who would be a monk?
I don't know.
I think literally all the fighters, even though Aragorn's supposed to be a ranger, I think he's really just a fighter that knows how to survive in the woods. Which is basically a ranger, but you know what I mean.
Fighter makes a better ranger anyways.
Yeah. Poor ranger.
The class features ranger gets not amazing. So I can hurt things better if they're this type of creature, or I can track creatures better if they're this kind of thing.
Well, I think the big problem is they can't decide if it's supposed to be Aragorn or Dritz, and they're trying to combine both.
Not be Aragorn. Aragorn's a fighter.
I know, but they call him a ranger. That's why
he was called a ranger because that's what his job title was.
I know what I'm saying. What I'm saying is maybe ranger shouldn't be a class. Maybe ranger should be a subclass of fighter.
There we go.
Or what do they call him in 5th edition?
Archetype.
An archetype.
Or hear me out. Hear me out here. A background.
There you go.
What you did before you became an adventurer.
Yeah, there you go. Or Fister 3.5, a prestige class, if you will. Kind of like I think Paladin should be a prestige class for cleric.
Really?
Well, I mean, you're fighting for your god. Like, I kind of think you would have started as a cleric and like become that, or you would have started as a fighter and become that. I don't think you just start out like I'm a holy warrior. Like, I just don't think it works that way.
Yeah. So you got any other properties you think would make a good tabletop game?
I mean, I'm sure there's others, but Command and Conquer was the one that I thought I had a grasp on, but apparently I don't.
Well, if it wasn't for what's coming out and, was able to be gotten at Gen Con this year, I'd say Halo.
Yeah.
It now has a tabletop game.
Okay.
Uh,
I suppose I could say Star Wars since X-Wing and Armada have been canceled.
but you still have Legion.
I mean, fleet battles.
Mm-hmm.
I'll be specific. I would say Star Trek, but there are the click games.
And you have the away team stuff.
Yeah, I mean specifically like the ship-to-ship combat.
Oh. I would think Horizon Zero Dawn would make a good RPG. It's a good setting. It would be fun to play in.
I mean, I could see a tabletop war game type game for G.I. Joe.
That'd be cool.
I mean, it'd literally be like single characters versus legions of mooks, but
The Joes had their mooks.
well, okay, you're right. They do. They have the green shirts and the Steel Brigade and the just generic sailors too. I think pilots.
Those are green shirts.
Are they all just green shirts?
Yep.
Not even blue shirts for the Navy. Yep. We could even have a couple other factions. We got the Iron Grenadiers, we got the October Guard,
Mm-hmm.
the Dreadnoks, even though they're basically Cobra guys.
Oh, sub faction.
Cobra Law.
You can go into the Cobra Civil War.
Yeah. The comic Cobra Civil War or the cartoon Cobra Civil War in the alternate universe.
Yes. Why not go for both?
Yeah, and if you include the Devil's Due comics, you have the Coil.
So yeah, war game with G.I. Joe. You can go 32 millimeter with them. You have vehicles and such.
Oh man, I was just thinking the soldiers, but yeah, the vehicles too, of course. Yeah, why wouldn't you?
Why wouldn't you have a Sky Striker flying over
I was just
fighting with the Rattler?
I know, but I was just thinking just the soldiers. But yeah,
No.
you're right. The vehicles are a critical
Vamp,
part.
Hiss.
We already have bases too. We've got the Terrordrome, the Joe base, the
Flag.
Flag.
Although Flag would be better suited to be a map.
Yeah. The there's a big Cobra underwater base. There's Cobra Island.
Yeah, but these would be more like maps.
Yeah, Cobra Island for sure would be. The Flag might be a centerpiece in just a big naval battle.
Yeah.
Because Cobra's got subs and stuff.
And so does the Joes.
You have the big Cobra robot that I realized we didn't talk about in the last episode as far as things they can do in the not-Haz labs. Like, I want to see that thing as a real thing. Like, now, I mean, admittedly, like, to classified scale, I think it might be as tall as the Sentinel, but
I don't know if Transformers has a legitimate tabletop game or not, but it could easily be tied in with it.
yeah, what I would do is I'd give it its own game, but I'd make sure like the scale was going to work and that the game itself was basically the same game, and then make it so that have some like, okay, now if you want G.I. Joe versus Transformers, here's what you do.
Yeah.
That's the way I would do it. But yeah, now that would almost be like single individuals though.
Transformers, yeah, that'd be single individuals.
Because the bigger scale and everything. Plus, that's just the way it worked. Both the sides don't have mooks there, or at least they didn't. I think the Decepticons might now in some of the new stuff. I've seen like a generic Decepticon soldier as a toy recently.
Yeah. Would make a good RPG or tabletop game. I don't know. G.I. Joe would be great. I will say that.
Well, if it hasn't already been done, and you have to figure out how you would diversify to have more than one character. You could always go with Mega Man. You've got a bunch. You've got some other characters that you've got to work with. You've got the Mook guys down pat. You got tons of them. Then each of your like bosses, as you defeat them, you gain new abilities.
Yeah, I don't. It is such a one character story that it would be hard to adapt.
I mean, yeah. I mean, you'd have other people that were
See,
like Mega Man.
the issue is you need the world fleshed out.
Well, if you go for Mega Man X, it'd be easier because you have Zero, Axel. So you already got two other like mainline characters.
If you're going for an RPG, you need a world with depth to it.
Yeah, there is the Mega Man X games. What? You don't think Chill Penguin doesn't have a lengthy backstory sitting around somewhere?
It's probably a paragraph if we're lucky.
I'm sure it's more than that.
But I'm just saying, you need a world. You need a world that can be lived in.
Yeah, you can do that. It'd be easy. You literally just take the stages. Get a good writer. Explain why the stage is the way it is. Where it is on the map because you're on Earth. Just go from there. Sigma's your main villain, like in all 8 of the Mega Man X games.
I don't think Mega Man would make a good RPG setting.
I mean, there are 4 Mega Man RPG games.
But you're a single character in it. Like, that's...
Yes, but like I said, with X, there are other characters in the setting.
And how often do you swap between them in the game?
Well, it depends. I play as Axel quite a bit.
Okay, so you start playing as one. Are you able to switch over to the other in the middle?
I don't know, but that's one that will be an obvious change. Is like it'll be the whole gang is together, going out to fight the ones that are evil that I can't think what they're called.
Here's the next question: who gets the power up? Everybody?
Well, yeah.
So you're going to say the guy over there who's been in the corner all this time, just fiddling around and didn't do anything to help the fight, is going to get the same power up as the others that fought?
Well, actually, the power ups are different depending on who they are, but they will all get a power up.
A power up.
Yeah, because like it's different for X, Zero, and for Axel.
This seems like
Axel's whole deal is he can like turn into the other robots.
Okay.
So once he defeats them, he can turn into. Okay, X gets like the armor and the weapon. I don't remember what Zero does. Something to do with new sword strikes or something.
This would be better suited for like a board game.
That kind of crappy.
Or a skirmish war game.
A skirmish war game.
It would.
I'm telling you, Mega Man X Command Mission, excellent RPG. Even has hidden bosses like the Nine-Tailed Fox. It's a robot.
Mass Effect would make a great RPG. It's already an RPG. You just got to turn it into tabletop form. It is an expansive, elaborated on world.
I literally just told you there are 4 Mega Man RPGs.
Don't mean it would make a good tabletop RPG to play with friends.
I don't know why it wouldn't.
Super Mario Brothers RPG wouldn't make a great RPG to play with friends.
Why wouldn't it?
You can't make your own character. The Super Mario RPG had Mario. I don't even know if it had Luigi. But you had the Cloud Guy. You had Princess Peach. Spoilers, you got Bowser.
Okay, well, I mean, you can still just have it so you can create your own characters. I mean, that's not like a huge hurdle.
See, Mass Effect, you had the side characters that prove like, hey, these people can do stuff too. You had Liara, Garrus, Tali,
I mean,
and Rex.
Yeah, you just have other characters. I mean, or again, just create your own character. Like for Mega Man, you just create some other Maverick hunter. Don't get corrupted by Sigma, like all of them seem to at some point or other. Anyway, so what about the other question that I stopped you from reading?
Expansions to RPGs and tabletop games?
Yeah.
I mean, elaborate on that.
Like, do you want me to tell you which ones I'd like to see?
Yeah, sure. Bring it on. Because I can say, like, yeah, I want to see Dark Sun for D&D.
Well, I mean, that'd be a setting, right?
Yeah, it'd be an expansion setting.
No, what I mean is like terraforming Mars, for instance.
Yeah.
What about, like right now, there is an expansion for Venus. What about just making another game for Venus, but making it so it can be plugged into the other one instead of just like the side quest that it is now? So it's a more in-depth thing going on there.
Okay.
And if you're going to continue down that road, maybe also include the asteroid belt as another thing like that. And so then you can plug them all together, just have one gigantic game that's going to take you 3 days to play. Something like that.
See, I think the issue there is like, how do you determine the victor?
Well, okay, so those other two would be their own games. Okay.
Yeah.
Like they would have similar conditions to Mars. Like Venus, you'd have to figure out what you'd have to do to actually terraform the planet. So you'd have your factors and what you're trying to collect and all that.
You got to cool it off.
Probably. Or live in like the clouds, like Bespin. And then the asteroid belt would mainly be collecting resources, but there'd be like a little bit of not base construction, because the whole thing's card based, but like that's what it would amount to is you're building facilities there. You're building the infrastructure to ship the materials to Mars and to Earth. And then as one giant cohesive game, it would be like the end goal would be like once you have all these things aligned, it like essentially represents doing something else. Like you've conquered the solar system or something.
Yeah.
And it would either be once everything is settled, or it'd be once a certain number of things were settled between the games. Because like right now for Terraforming Mars, if you play it with the Venus expansion, you don't have to actually complete Venus to complete the game. It's optional.
Yeah.
Because the idea is that the one world government is focusing on Mars, and they're literally just exporting resources from Venus to Mars.
Okay. Which bringing up Mars and Venus reminds me of a couple of books that'd be great to turn into an RPG.
John Carter.
Oh, there's that, but no.
Where humans have a massive strength bonus.
No, not that. That is not what I came to my mind.
Okay.
I don't know what the actual series name is, but the first book that was written is In the Court of the Crimson King. Second one's The Sky People. One set on Mars, one set on Venus. Okay. This is a alternate what if space race book series.
Okay.
So you have the U.S. and you have the UN. I think you have the UN, the equivalent of the UN, and then you have the other side of the Cold War,
the commies,
Mother Russia, and their combined forces, whatever. But literally, Venus is habitable. It's more like Earth back in the Cretaceous period. And it has everything from Neanderthals to more like Native American peoples to dinosaurs to dire wolves.
Okay.
And Venus, or Mars, has like the whole dried up and genetically altered humanoids and such. Uh, Spoilers for the book. This ancient race populated the 3 planets and kind of like a zoo. And like there's these yeah. It's been a while since I read the book series. I just know you have space race, competing interests on 3 different worlds, space travel that dogs do not like but cats do because it's in 0G. Uh, Depending on the world they're on, they're either strong or they're having to adapt to higher oxygen and so all that. Uh, the people chosen is to go to Venus or Mars are generally the best of the best. Like they all have like a primary master's degree and a secondary degree, or they're Olympic level marksmen with like survival experts. So you have right there like classes built into it.
Yeah.
Are you the smart guy, or are you really good at surviving? How well do you like cats to bring on the trip with you? Or you just go try and catch a direwolf when you get to Venus, which does happen in the book. The guy that Hat does it starts it with as a pup.
Yeah.
So, easier to domesticate when it's a pup and it needs you for sustenance.
Sure. Makes sense.
Plus, like, the main character for the Sky People, which is the one set on Venus, the one that gets the direwolf, he's Cajun. He had a lot of experience raising dogs.
All right.
But, pretty good books. I think they would make a good RPG series.
Yeah. All right.
I wish I could find them in audiobook.
Well, I want to tell you about that, Chip.
Expansion wise, I really think Dark Sun for D&D 5th edition would be great. And I don't say that just because I want the cannibalistic halflings, although that is a major factor.
Oh, actually, I was going to comment that I think you mean 6th edition or 5.5.
5.5. D&D 1. It's backwards compatible with everything in 5th edition.
I'll take your word for it.
Supposedly. We'll find out. I got a 2024 sorcerer and a 2014 sorcerer in the same game.
Yeah.
One's getting the start of his archetype immediately, and the other's having to wait till level 3.
Which one's which?
Immediately, it's 2014 edition. 2024, they redid all the when you got your archetype features to all line up a lot better. So, whereas in 2014 version, you have clerics that start at level 2, sorcerers that start at level 1, most of the others that start at level 3. The sorcerer, it made sense because it's your bloodline.
Yeah. All right. Well,
I think clerics were level 2. Yeah. But I wouldn't mind expansions for Wrath and Glory, which I know they're making. We need more of them, though. Like, I just don't know, like, specifics to give. Like,
yeah.
because, like, I haven't gotten any of those books recently.
Yeah. Well, it's like with Lords of Waterdeep. Like, I'd like to see more for it. I just don't know what else to do for it.
Hear me out. An expansion set as if you're sending resources to, like, Neverwinter or Baldur's Gate or in town.
Okay.
That's my idea.
Well,
Or an expansion where you're trying to get through the Dungeon of the Mad Mage.
well, I mean, Undermountain's already kind of factored in.
But the Dungeon of the Mad Mage is not Undermountain itself. It starts in Durnan's Inn.
Well, okay, but I mean, like Alistair and everything's already in the game.
No, I would I'd be happy with just them, doing a re-release for Lords of Waterdeep, like updated artwork and all.
Well, I could live without updated artwork, but what I would like to see would be an updated version of the board that includes all the other bits and pieces. Um, all the all the cards having a more uniform appearance.
Yeah,
Because like the cards for the base game, if something costs like 6 coins, it has 6 coins on there. But for the expansions, it has a 5 and a 1. You know, I'd want pick one and go with that.
go the 5 and the 1
Well,
round.
that's probably what they have to do because some of them are like 15 and stuff. Um,
But here's what I'm saying: updated graphics and such, or updated artwork and all. A unified board where it is just you're getting both expansions with it.
yeah, yeah, I'd want to see that. I've seen because it probably had to be a mat though,
I would not be opposed to that.
because I've seen some of them on Etsy, and there's one. I wish the guy had made more of them because he said he only made like one or two just like to test it out. But he made them so it was longer and I think wider, so it had more slots for the buildings.
Yeah,
And I'd like to see that, because if you've got 5 players and if somehow they all build anywhere near the maximum number of buildings, you're going to blow out the board in no time. I mean, if even just one player maxes it out and the others just build some buildings, because I think there's only 10 slots, the maximum any one player can build is 9.
yeah,
So, yeah, I'd like to see that. A comprehensive reworking of the rules so that like all the little notes and ticks and everything are all together one place. Everything's accounted for. That'd be nice. One single rule book. And the only adjustment I'd like to see to the game is make it so there's some way to reset the buildings that are for sale. Because if you just get stuck with crap, no one's going to waste a turn. They're just going to sit there for the game. There needs to be a way.
unless they have the secret lore to build buildings, then
Well,
they don't care.
yeah, I mean, there's some ways around it, but like it's going to be a player that's going to be able to do that. So, and no one's going to waste turns. So there has to be a way to do it. And I mean, like we've come up with a way, but there's got to be something. And I think the only real problem is because of the variable cost of the buildings. So I think that's why that's not a choice in the game at the moment. Because what if you're like, oh, well, I'm going to flip them over and change them? Then all the buildings cost 9 coins and you only have 8. You know, then you can't follow through on the second part of buying the building.
Yeah,
So that's why I think maybe it would have to come at the cost of you have whatever the highest value building is, which I think is 9. Is you have to have 9 coins to be able to do it. It won't cost you 9 coins. You have to have them just in case somehow all the buildings line up that. Or maybe it's uh, if you wind up in that scenario, you keep turning the other two over until the other two are not 9 or something. You know, like they'll figure that part out. That would be the one like actual game change I would make. And there's one card, I don't remember what it is off the top of my head, but it has to do with like stealing something your opponent has. It's literally like the only card in the game that can do something like that. And it's real egregious. It's not I can take like 2 orange guys or 2 black guys. It's like it had something to do with like taking your property or something.
yeah. I think you can take their building.
And I always just felt that card was really egregious, considering like what you probably had to go through to build the building in the first place.
Don't we play without that card?
I usually take it out, yeah.
Yeah.
So I would remove that card or restructure it or something. But other than that, I would leave the game more or less as is. Or there's one other thing. I would make it so that no person could have more than one mandatory quest on them at a time.
Yeah, you've been burnt with that, haven't you?
Yeah, I have. or like no more than one, and in the round they get rid of it, they can't have another one put on. Something like that.
Yeah, actually give you a chance to.
To do something else. Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Because you can completely shut someone out if you do it right.
Yeah.
If you and the other people are conspiring, especially.
Oh yeah.
Other than that, if they were going to reissue it, I don't know how you'd go about it, but maybe come up with some kind of like team version of it.
That'd be fun.
So you actually are like, so everyone's just open about like, hey, we're on the same team here. Uh, it'd require a little work, but I think it can be done.
Because we've proposed doing something like that before.
We've proposed it. We just haven't sat down and figured out exactly how we'd have to do it.
And how you determine victors and all that.
Yeah. But I think it could be done. But yeah, I mean that's the main thing I want to see. And then if that all succeeds, then give us another game like a Baldur's Gate board game with different rules, different stuff, but by the same design team, hopefully. Just a thought.
Would it be better with Baldur's Gate or Neverwinter?
I don't know. I mean, Neverwinter could
Or
work too.
Kalimshan.
Kalimshan could work. Cormyr could work. I suppose you could go really off the beaten path and go to Zentil Keep. That could work. If you want to be on the side of Zentarum. Uh, yeah, I mean, there's all kinds of other cities in the realms. Or from another setting entirely. I go for the city that Kalik ruled until he got overthrown in Dark Sun.
Or if you can get the licensing to work out, uh, Magic the Gathering, there's one playing that city. They released a 5th edition source book for it.
Oh, I can do.
Ain't Ravnica, is it?
Ravnica sounds like the big one. I know it has a source book. Or I'm relatively certain it has a source book.
Yeah, it's Ravnica. Yep. But yeah, you could get Magic the Gathering and do it in Ravnica.
Yeah.
You have your faction set up, you have a reason for questing and all that. So.
All right. Well, one of the topics we're going to briefly touch upon here. Lego Space 2025.
They listened to us.
Apparently, it is going to be a thing, or at the very least, there's a ship. Also, before I get into that, the present rumor, I don't know what substantiates it, but everyone seems to be going into it, is that they are going to remake the main Blacktron ship from way back when. The something Renegade something. I sent you a thing.
Yes. Yeah.
And, like, it might just be the Blacktron Renegade.
It's Blacktron Renegade.
Okay. So, one major difference is the original has around 300 pieces, and the new one's supposed to have like 1,100 pieces, which is one hell of an upgrade. And it's supposed to be about $110. Supposed to be part of the Icons line.
Blacktron remake, 100. This is saying $109, give or take.
Yeah.
1,151 pieces. Releases January 2025.
Yes, that is almost 4 times as many pieces as the original. Now, I know it has more figures. It says it has 2 regular Blacktron guys, like 2 crew members, which tells me it's going to have to be a different ship. Like, because the original just has no interior. And a lot of things are like plug and play into it. So I think it'll probably have it'll actually have an interior, or the cockpit's going to be significantly larger, and things like that. So we'll have to see, but it's from Blacktron 1. And yeah, so then we're also getting what is being called a modular spaceship for the space line. Unknown cost at the moment. It's 700 some odd pieces. And a lot of people think that the figures look like Futuron guys. So they do look a little different than And for those of you who are only listening, right about now, there's going to be a picture in the middle of the screen. So I'm going to try to link to it down in the description also. But here I'm going to put the picture for those of you who are watching. And yeah, it's got a fairly good sized cockpit. I think it looks like an interior, probably tunnel back to the back. And then a large section in the back that definitely houses figures. And comes with what looks like, what, 4 figures?
4.
Yeah.
Because you got a pilot, you got a guy in yellow, a guy in green, and a guy in blue.
Yeah, and you see how they're like similar to the Futuron kind of uniforms.
Yeah.
Now, what we don't know is, given that it's called a modular ship, like we don't know if like the ship itself breaks up into pieces and can be reassembled, or if it means that like other sets in the line can like plug into it, or what that means exactly. But that's what it is.
I mean,
to me, it looks like it's probably in segments.
yeah.
But like the whole point of doing that would be like to be able to rearrange them somehow, and I don't know how you'd rearrange those from what we have here. You know, that's why I'm inclined to believe that, like other sets would be able to plug into it.
You could take the wings off. That almost looks like a cap you could take off.
Yeah.
You can move the wings to a different segment. And then, like, 4 segments on there, you can maybe rearrange those.
Yeah, I mean we'll see when we get the rest, like the box art and everything. This is just the one lone picture.
Not even a great picture either.
No, no, and it's part of like a bundle of several other pictures people have found. I think from a Japanese catalog.
Yeah, I'd say Japanese catalog.
Tell you what, Chad, just go to the page, the Reddit page there at the top. Sorry, if there's been anything else.
Uh,
Yeah, some of the other leaks are would appear to be like racing carts.
Lego are they making Lego sets for Lego racers?
I think so.
Because that's great.
But yeah, so the ship itself, in my opinion, it looks good. With the piece count, I'm hoping it's not more than $80, but we'll see. Uh, like I said, since they call it a modular, I guess we'll have to see like if it actually does anything else.
Well,
There.
it's an ambulance,
Yeah.
but the guy at like with the skateboard in the back.
Well, we're gonna find out how he gets injured.
I think he's already injured. Looks like there's a cast piece on his arm. No, my issue is like, why are they using this new like stretcher design? Why not go with the old one where it literally had the wheels that plugged in that could fold up,
I don't know.
which was in my mind the better idea.
Oh, I got some weird ideas over there in Denmark sometimes, Chad.
They do.
Everyone keeps referring to that as the goat battle pack.
Because it's got 2 goats.
Yes, a little tractor and everything else, but it's the goats that people want.
I think those are sheep, not goats.
It may be a sheep.
Yeah, those look like sheep.
And people seem to like the look of the garage at the beginning. The mechanic.
They like the look of it because it has a freaking crane holding a car.
Yeah, it's going into the crusher.
Oh, there's little cubes that of cars that have already been crushed.
I'll link to the set of these pictures so you folks can see what we're talking about. But anyway, Chad, you got any comments on the ship itself?
They stole our idea. We deserve credit.
Now, someone pointed out it actually looks like a toy from like the 70s.
I mean, I'm fine with that.
Like a specific like spaceship toy. And I'd have to read through the comments and everything to see which one they're talking about. But anyway, anything else you want to throw in here, Chad, before we kind of wrap things up. Yeah, I've looked through and seen the older stuff.
Not really. I mean, you guys can share what.
Seen that.
Ooh.
Yeah, there's a Creator 3-in-1 Dragon that actually looks halfway decent.
Yeah, it does.
Of course, it is like 700 some odd pieces, so better.
I mean, the only thing I got is I've shared what properties I thought would make a good RPG or tabletop game, or I want to see what you guys think would make good ones.
Yeah, definitely let us know down in the comments.
Because while D&D is the primary market for role playing games, like there is a thing for these for other ones. There's
Yeah,
want for
there
it.
are other games.
D&D can't cover everything.
No.
Like it's great for fantasy high magic games, but once you start going, I want low magic,
Yeah,
it
edition
doesn't
is-
work.
Fifth edition doesn't. Third doesn't.
3.5 doesn't.
Well, I've been talking in all of its incarnations. Third doesn't. It's too fantastical.
Yeah.
Fourth, I don't think would. Like first and second are where you really got to go. Or like old school
You
stuff.
you want sci-fi? I don't think D&D does the best sci-fi.
Probably not.
For that, you need to find one based on the property you want to do or what you're interested in.
Yeah.
Like, if you want the grim, dark future, well, you got Warhammer 40k and actually two different flavors at the moment. Wrath and Glory, which is the more campy, you're the hero guy, or Imperium Maledictus, which is you're an everyman. Congratulations, your job sucks. Which I really need to buy, but if you want the transhumanism stuff, you got Cyberpunk.
Yeah.
If you want a little bit of fantasy with your sci-fi, you got Shadowrun. But D&D doesn't do everything.
Yeah, actually, Chad had a video not too long ago talking about the difference between something that's for anyone and something that's for everyone. And I think that's kind of somewhat relevant to what you're talking about.
Yeah.
You know what the difference is, right?
Yes.
Okay.
Something that is for anyone is welcome to come and enjoy it.
Yes.
Something for everyone means, well, here you go. We're trying to make it to where it appeases everybody.
Yeah.
Which means it will appease nobody.
Yes, because you will eventually run afoul of that whole, like, you can please some of the people some of the time.
But you cannot please all the people all the time.
All right. So, yeah. Well, let us know what you think about the Lego set, too, by the way.
Yeah.
But, yeah, I think that's about all we got here, Chad.
Yep.
So, I think we've managed to mostly stay on topic, except for the very beginning.
Yeah. Yeah, imagine that.
So, anyway, if you've stuck with us this long, thank you.
We almost hit our time mark.
Like, well, we're an hour and a half is what we're shooting for. So we are right in the middle of that. And, yeah, let us know down in the comments what you think about any of this. Are there any topics you would like to hear us talk about? Like to hear us opine about? Elucidate upon, if you will.
Provide you illumination to see into it.
Yes.
Or you just want to hear our opinions on something.
Yeah, I mean, yeah, definitely. And as mentioned in the beginning, I do have another BattleTech video. They're going to come out. Actually, by the time this is out, the BattleTech video will probably be out. And I will be making more of those. This was on a bit of a hiatus, but I imagine it's going to come roaring back here very shortly. So, still got all kinds of books from Gen Con I got to read, and all the stuff from the Kickstarter I now have that I tried to film an unboxing video of the Kickstarter stuff, but the sound didn't work. So
Voiceovers, Bobbie. Voiceovers do amazing things.
Well, actually, in the BattleTech video, I offered to put like Benny Hill music in it instead.
Our Benny Hill music, that'll work.
You know what I'm talking about, right?
Yeah.
Okay. However, the problem is because of where the camera's sit, you can't really see things very well. Because I was opening the box there that came in, and so like you'll see me hold something up, and you're like, "What's that?" But you won't know because you know.
You know what else works?
Well, I'm going to record videos of unboxing everything, but
I was going to say subtitles.
Yeah, like if I can find an AI bot to do it for me. Like, I don't type scripts. You think I'm going to type what I actually said? Come on now.
You don't have to type what you actually said. If the audio's not working, they're not going to know what you said in the first place.
Well, I mean, you're not wrong.
So you just, like, put down something that's relevant. Like, this here is the
something that's relevant.
Yeah, something that's relevant.
I'm just going to start reading the New Testament. I know it's not copyrighted.
I mean, not relevant for our channel, but
okay, then
Then
I'll read The Art of War. I know it's also not copyrighted.
But it is kind of relevant to our channel.
Yeah, I mean, in fact, I could read The Art of War as annotated by Jamie Wolfe, actually. Got that in Kickstarter.
There you go.
I'll start reading off recipes from the BattleTech cookbook.
Yeah.
If I ever get the updated version. Apparently they just took some recipes from online. They're not good.
No, here's what you need to do with that cookbook. We start doing cooking episodes. BattleTech Cooking with Bobbie.
Well, if we do that, we're also going to take the book that has the drink recipes.
Unless you want it, because that gives us BCB. If you want BCBC, it could easily be BattleTech Cooking with Bobbie and Chad.
Yeah. Maybe. Honestly, I'm going to try to convince Owen to help us make a fake trailer for the Broom Boy movie. He gets to be Broom Boy.
So what do we get to be?
I don't know. You can be an Imperial commander that he fights, or sorry, a First Order commander that he fights, or a gambler on Canto Bight.
No.
Or you can be a war profiteer.
I want to be the visiting hut. There for the gambling and the fun.
Uta Gutu, Broom Boy.
You can be my Gamorrean guard.
No, I've had better cosplay offers in Star Wars specifically. So
A Wookiee slave?
no, Chewbacca.
Oh,
The Chris as like a normal person. But, you know, the height difference.
well, we'll get Chris in on this too.
But he might. You never know. All right. So that's that. Now we're starting to venture out. So let's wrap this up here. All right. So that's about all we got, I think. So like I said, hit us up in the comments. Let us know what you guys think. Otherwise, like, share, subscribe, all that fun stuff. Sharing and commenting are the best ways to help us grow the channel, and we appreciate everyone that's helped us do that so far. And hopefully you stick with us as we go on and on into, I don't know, old age. I don't know, maybe we'll see. Till Owen can inherit it all. I don't know. But yeah, we'll see.
Owen inherited all.
Well, I mean, I suppose like Brandon and Levi can get in on the action too, but Brandon lives in San Diego, and by the fact Levi lives next door to me, it took me a month for him to get over to talk about Scream. So, yeah. So anyway, and then the audio didn't work. So, got to do it all again.
Good luck.
Hopefully, it'll be more focused this time. We really meandered in that video. Good Lord.
Look, There's one thing people come to this channel expecting.
Meandering.
Yes.
By the way, if you do, let us know. Like, I'm curious.
Like, is that what you really expect from our videos? Or do we just go, well, we meander, so we're joking about it?
Yeah, I don't know. Anyway, that's about all we got. So, yeah, so time to sign off here. So, folks, we'll be seeing you later.